Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Northeast Georgia History Center's 24-hour telethon. We are so excited. We're so glad to have you with us. We've got a lot of great things planned over the next 24 hours, and we hope that you will be a part of them in some great or smaller bit. And, of course, the purpose of a telethon is to raise money. Most of you tuning in probably already know about the Northeast Georgia History Center. You know what we offer. You know what our goals are. You know what our mission is. But as you also know, 2020 has been what we call a year. And there's lots of things, lots of challenges that have been faced. And we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about those this morning. We just wanted to give you the heads up that we're here for you and we know that you'll be here for us. So, welcome to Good Morning History, our new, at least for today and tomorrow, morning show with my very special guest star, Marie Walker.
Hello.
The magnificent Marie. And, of course, behind the scenes, as always, making all the things go, is Libba Beecham.
Yay!
Hey, everyone. Oh, it's so exciting to finally be here. Really excited for the telethon. Glenn, let me get out of your face. Hold on. There we go.
Sure.
Yes. So, yeah, we have been working so hard on this telethon, and it has been so much fun. So we have a lot of awesome programs for you today. And if you check the chat or your event description, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, we have a program for you so that you can see all of the programs that we have today. Yes, Marie has it as well, a printed version. And we also have all of our donation tiers, which, you know what? We might as well go over those this very moment.
That's a great idea.
What a great idea.
Let me turn to this very handy program that's available online in PDF form anywhere around the world. So, Marie, you and I can just take turns at this. I'll start us off. Our first donation tier is $5. And for just $5, you can get mailed directly to your home or business a fantastic Northeast Georgia History Center sticker and a thank you postcard.
Now, our next tier is $20. Now, you get all that you see above, plus a Northeast Georgia History Center keychain, a Northeast Georgia History Center button, and a Northeast Georgia History Center newspaper that tells stories of the communities.
That's right, and it's a history of the First Amendment and journalism right here in Georgia, and that, as we know, is a very important thing. The next tier, $50, gets you all of the above, as well as a Northeast Georgia History Center cookbook, which came first, which of course may surprise you that it has a lot of chicken recipes in there, Gainesville being the poultry capital of the world.
Now, next we have our $100 tier, which means you get all of the above, plus our Northeast Georgia History Center mug, which is new this year.
Yes.
Came into being. It's fantastic. And you also get a Northeast Georgia History Center magnet.
Now, the next level, $200, gets you, I'll say it again, all the above, plus recognition and live stream credits. You see an example right there. It's our big sponsors, of course, are the Cottrell Digital Studio and the Eddie Mae Avister Education Center, but we want you to be a part of that August company, and if you give $200, you will get your name here.
Now, for $500, you get all of the above, plus one live webcast or in-person program with a historic figure for you or in your group.
That's
or
right.
How many people you want.
Any historic figure we can pull out of our hats can be yours. Now, the last but not least certainly is the biggie, the $1,000 level. If any of you out there are feeling incredibly generous or perhaps have a rich uncle who you want to send the link to the telethon to, you get all of the above, plus a signed copy of my book, Hall County in World War II, plus 2 tickets to our Taste of History fundraiser in 2021, and here on site recognition on our Partners and Friends board. So that $1,000 level, we're hoping to get at least one of those during the next 24 hours because that can make a big difference in what we're able to do here to continue bringing these quality programs to you. And we want to make sure that everyone knows your name. when you, if and when you give that much money, or anything that you give, of course, is going to make a big difference, and it's really going to help us out, right, Marie?
It really is.
Absolutely, and it looks like we already have someone who has donated, and let me make sure that everybody can see that. So, they say that said that Northeast Georgia History Center is very special. I want to make sure that we thank everyone.
Absolutely.
That let me fix our alert so that everyone can be recognized, and so thank you so much for that donation. Let's see. So, who just donated? I'm gonna go check. Now, let's see.
Now, one of the things I can confirm is that those mugs that you get at the $100 level or above, they work great. They don't leak or anything.
Oh, and here we can see the backside of it.
That's right.
Is Glenn's saying.
History in a nutshell.
That's right.
Because everyone who studies history loves it, but they know how complex it is. And so when we get questions, and we do sometimes, what was World War II? Can you tell me a little bit about the history of the presidency? What is space and time? And we want to answer those questions because all those questions have answers, but they can be so incredibly complex. So we find ourselves having to say, well, in a nutshell, ... So we had to put that on our mug because it seems like we say that almost more than anything.
Yes, and I would like to personally thank Cindy Wilson for her $50 donation.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank
Yay.
you so much, Cindy. And Cindy, I recognize your name. I know that you've been in the chat for many of our live streams, so thank you for being a top fan of the History Center. Cindy said in her message, Northeast Georgia History Center is something special. I am happy to have discovered your programming. Truly, it is very above and beyond. That really means the world to us. Thank you so much, Cindy. And I'd also like to give a shout out to one of our earlier donations, Chris. So thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
For your $40 donation. Thank you so much.
And and Cindy, I want to make sure you understand that you and all the folks who have followed us this year, we need the money to run the operations, but we need your words. You don't know what effect that has on our internal motors and our internal brains. That's what keeps us personally going, is knowing that we've got friends out there that we're making a difference, and that even though we have to reach through the ether to actually have contact with you, that it really is meaningful. So thank you so much, especially for your kind words.
Yes, and that brings to mind this season, of course, brings a lot of reflection for all of us, as it is so different than every other year this year. And we've, just like Glenn was saying, in the beginning of the pandemic in March, we were in an interesting situation because, yes, it's very challenging. It's a scary time for many nonprofits, especially because so much of our operations and the funding for our operations and educational programming does come from on-site visitations, from field trips to visitors. But at the same time, from basically the next day, when we knew that we had to close, we were like, all right, we're ready to go. We have the Cottrell Digital Studio here. We have been doing webcasts with... I'm sorry, I gotta remember, don't look at the chat when you're talking. But thank you, Amber, for your comment. But we were doing webcasts for schools all over Georgia and through Zoom. And we had just sort of started live streams for the general public, and then we really had to get them started. And for 10 weeks or so, we did weekday programs, which I'm sure many of you got to know us through those weekday programs. And then, of course, Marie was brought on board, which was just so exciting. So I have to say that from my personal experience, I have felt very fortunate for this pandemic experience because we still get to do the things we love just in a different way.
Right, and that's the thing. When we were in the very the throes of the quarantine and everyone was staying at home really hardcore, Lib and I talked about how we almost feel guilty because there's so much going on in the world and we're having a lot of fun. Yeah. Right? We're coming in and getting to meet new people and reach out to a worldwide audience and talk about something we love. We consider ourselves very fortunate to be able to have those opportunities. And then we got Marie and drug her into We created a trifecta. if you
Yes.
will.
I mean, we have a fantastic team here. I mean, we are a small team, but I have to say a very highly effective team. And we really put our all into everything we do here. And Marie, since you are the newest staff member here, just tell us about, when were you introduced to the History Center? I know you volunteered with us for years, so give us your story.
Yeah, so my story, if you will. So I'm not sure where is a good place to begin with this because I've always loved history so much, but I guess we'll just dive into it medium rest, if you will. So I was actually dancing at the National 4-H Convention. They have that usually at the Atlanta History in downtown Atlanta, in this big, beautiful ballroom. And I was doing mid-Victorian dancing with my historic dancing group. And then I met someone else who worked at the History Center, and they were like, oh, wait, you like to do this dancing stuff? You like to do the and I was like, oh, yes, and I can also cook over a fire. And that was really the main skill that got me to volunteer at the History Center is because I had my own costumes that I make, and also I knew how to cook over an open fire.
Right. Those are like fundamental interpretive skills.
Yes. So if you want to be a historic interpreter, make sure you have a good outfit and you can cook over a fire, and everything else will fall into place.
Which, just so everybody knows, we will have one of Marie's open fire cooking demonstrations today. So check the program. We have so many programs that I can't get the lineup in my head. But,
Yeah.
but we are going to
That's
have.
why we have this.
Yes,
we're
that's
going to
why
be
we have
going
our
like this a
program.
lot, but that's okay.
Yes, and just a reminder, if you would like to see our program, there is a link in the description. I will also go ahead and put another link in the chat right now for you.
Yes.
But Marie, we are just so excited to have you. So you volunteer, you do a lot of reenactment as well. You're a seamstress. It was pretty much, I mean, how could you not come to the History Center? It was
It was great.
It was a steal. Yeah.
Because you started volunteering here, what, 3 years ago?
Yes,
Something
for
like
family days. It was my freshman year of college. So actually, you know what?
that? What?
That's to this day almost.
No.
Yes.
Really?
4 years.
4 years.
To
Look
this
at
day,
her.
because my first family day at the Northeast Georgia History Center was our Victorian Christmas family day.
That's right.
So almost
right.
4 years to the day.
Aw, that's awesome.
Is when I started just being here at the History Center and doing our family day stuff. And then I graduated.
Yay.
Yay! And then I was able to be hired here.
Yay. Which was very happy happenstance for the History Center.
Yes,
It was
certainly.
fantastic timing. For me.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, through this year, guys, what has been your favorite moment?
Oh, wow.
Now,
I
one
know that makes us suspect.
that is a hard question because we really do have so many, because so many of you out there have reached out to us in various ways. I mean, even writing us letters the old-fashioned way. I recall one special letter that Glenn got. That Glenn,
That's
I'd
right.
love for you to talk about that.
That's the one that popped into my head. So we're doing the daily live streams, and still going to the post office and checking the mail like you have to when you're a business, and got this handwritten envelope out of the box. I'm like, well, this is interesting, and was from well out of state, let's say, and got back and opened it up, and it was a young lady by the name of Olivia who was telling us how much she loved history and how she was a bona fide history nerd and how she's been watching the broadcast all the time, and that warmed my heart, and we began a correspondence, if you will, back and forth, and I haven't been as on task with that as I wanted, but the letters do kind of still come back and forth, and knowing that we had gotten someone watching who was so inspired by that they took the time in the early 21st century to sit down and write a letter on a piece of paper and put it in the post and have it delivered. That's a really personal connection that I really appreciated and we really needed in the midst of not being able to, really be close to real people in a physical face-to-face way. So getting that that letter was a very remarkable, inspirational, heartwarming. It just made everything come together. I think it really did. So thank you, Olivia, if you're watching. That meant the world to me and to us.
Yes, and we've received letters and emails as well, your Facebook messages, especially your comments at the end of our live streams.
Yes.
It really just warms our heart. So thank you so much for all of your enthusiasm. It really is very special because while we are a small museum, we had wanted to have a broader reach, and we kind of were not well, in a way we were kind of forced into it.
Right.
Well, all right, let's do this, and it has just been nothing but positive, and we've learned a lot too. So, I think that over the next year, especially, you'll see our live streams improve even more.
Right.
When we were doing our reruns of our live streams this November, and we're also doing reruns in December, like, they're really great programs, but you can also tell that, we've just gotten a handle of things in the studio now, and things kind of work like clockwork now. So
yeah, and that's part of the beauty of it. We are small, but we're also streamlined, right? We're educational ninjas.
Yeah.
Because there were no committees or administrators that we had to go through when all this hit. Liv and I were like, well, you want to do this?
Yeah.
Okay. And we did.
Yeah.
And we just learned as we went. And we didn't have to come up with some great big, request for proposal and pitch to someone to do it. We just started doing things.
Yeah.
And it seemed to work. And like Libba said, we've continued to improve. We've continued to pull great people in.
Yeah.
We've been able to hire Marie. We've got people like Shiara, like Mustafa that we pull in for a lot of great programs. And it's just all come together.
Yeah.
And we've had a great time doing it. And it's all because of you, though. Because if it wasn't for the crowds who watch us, just talking to the camera knowing there's no one back there is not fun. But knowing that you're there is fantastic.
Yeah, and I would say that, it's hard to pick a moment, but I do think those weeks where we were getting such a broader audience was really the highlight for me. Now, Marie, you may have a specific moment in mind, but one really big project that you did a fantastic job with was our virtual summer camps.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And that was just so much
I was
fun.
thinking, live stream wise.
Yeah.
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 It's funny because we do so much. We have a podcast. We do our reading program, now virtual reading program, Gainesville Reads, every week. We do Homeschool Connection now every week, which is lessons for homeschool students every single week. And we offered our virtual summer camps. But Marie, talk to us about, when you reflect on the past year, what comes to mind as those moments that you're just really thankful for?
Being able to work here full time is definitely one of the biggest blessings and greatest joys of my life, and especially in 2020. And then of course once I got here, we hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, you had to.
yes. There was no other way. So getting to just come here and just talk about things that I really enjoy and learning about, one of my favorite live stream programs I think that we did, that we are going to be doing a part 2 of today, was my historical fashion program. That was just so much fun. That was, I think, one of the last live streams I did before I actually came here full time.
Right.
But we're going to be doing some more today, where I get to show more outfits that I make and talk about historical fashion, which I'm very passionate about. I also, one of my first big project once I got here was our virtual summer camps, which was so much fun, and I loved it so much. I'm so happy. I think the moment that made me so happy about the summer camp program was we did 3 weeks of them. We did our American Revolutionary Camp, we did Frontier Camp, and then we did Civil War Camp. And a lot of the kids from Revolutionary War Camp loved it so much that they signed up again for Civil War Camp.
That's right.
And at the end of Civil War Camp, a lot of the kids were asking, can we do this all the time? We don't want to go. And I'm I don't want to go either, because getting to do summer camps was so much fun, and I loved the virtual interaction that we were able to have, even though it was indeed virtual. so we ended up doing Homeschool Connection. That was really born out of that. It wasn't really something that like Libba or I thought of. It was really the kids saying, "Can we do this all year?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "Yes, we will. We will for you."
That's right.
So then I started writing lesson plans.
Because history nerds have to watch out for one another. That's
Yes.
one thing we've definitely learned.
Yes.
You know.
And the students in Homeschool Connection are so much fun. They are such a bright part of our week every
Yes,
week.
yes.
And the thing is that as part of Homeschool Connection, they also get access to our members-only programs. And Glenn, just the other day when you were doing your letter writing in the 18th and 19th centuries, one of our homeschool students, our very enthusiastic students, you know the one I'm talking about, said, "I don't want this to ever end." Because he was just so fascinated by it, and we really love that.
And that's one of the things that I think we have a strength in, is that we can talk about the big picture stuff, right? We can say, well, what was World War II and how did that affect the United States and what role did slavery play in early America? And we can talk about that. But we can also get down to some of that nitty-gritty stuff, like how they wrote letters in 1800. I mean, that's fun, it's educational, and it may not help you understand the course of the world, but it helps you understand how individuals actually lived and experienced their own time. And I think that's something we have to be cognizant of, because we're all people in the time stream, right? And a lot of the things we take for granted that we do, that we live, we just don't think about it, right? They're just things that happen to us, like being on a phone or driving in a car. And if we knew back then, let me rephrase that. If we knew how people did the simplest things in the distant past, we would be so much richer in our knowledge. But yet we have to struggle and have archaeologists dig in the ground and do a lot of guesswork just to figure out what people ate sometimes, right? And so getting those personal connections of how people lived, I think really helps this history connect with this history. And that's one of the things I love doing here at the History Center. I think that's one of the things that, modesty aside, we do a pretty good job of.
Absolutely. And someone thinks we've done a good job. Roseanne Kent, thank you so much, Roseanne, for your $50 donation.
Oh, thank you.
Roseanne said in her message, "Your center is the keeper of the stuff and stories of North Georgia, my people. Thanks for all the good work." Thank you so much, Roseanne. We so appreciate it. And, we're almost ready to show a really cool video from one of our awesome staff members, Lesley Jones. So Lesley has like 10 different titles. So
she does, well, her title is Museum Services Manager. Well, think of all the services that a museum
yes,
provides.
exactly. So Lesley took on the organization and cataloging of our archives. And this was a huge endeavor, and she even got a grant for it as well. And so now our archives are in a much better place than they were, thanks to Lesley and thanks to Ava, who also helped Lesley as well. So Lesley is going to show us what is it like to actually work in the archives. You'll get to see some of the cool items that she is currently archiving. And you'll also get to see a part of your donation is going to go towards helping preserve these artifacts that have been donated to us. And we are able to catalog them for you, research them for you, and share them as a research resource for you. So we're gonna switch over to.
Actually, there's one thing I want to talk about.
Oh yes,
first,
please
if
do.
we could.
Yeah, sure.
Because we almost forgot.
Yes.
There's ways other than making a donation that you can get stuff from us.
That's true. We don't want to leave out our. Let me get to it.
We were going to do that right now, right?
Yeah. We can do our raffle.
Definitely.
So yes, we do have raffles today. So let's go into our raffles, and then we'll dive into the archives.
Yes.
So first up, today, Marie is going to be sewing a handmade apron, and you can have the apron. Now, Marie, do you want to tell us a little bit about your apron you're going to be sewing?
Yes, so I just went and I picked out fabric yesterday. It's going to be a nice blue check. It will be a waist apron, so it ties around the waist, which was very popular in these, well, from a very long time ago. This one that I'm going to be making is probably going to be more suited to the mid 1800s, or the perhaps mid to late 1700s would be the most suitable time period for this. I usually make ones from about the mid Victorian era because that's the area that I have the most expertise in.
Right.
So that is what we will be looking at more today. But it will be entirely hand sewn. And you will be able to, if you look in our program, you will be able to see exactly when. We will be doing some hand stitches, a hand stitch tutorial about what some of the stitches that I will be using in the apron, and then we will have the actual making of the apron.
Yeah, so to enter the raffle, you go to the same link as a donation, and raffle tickets are $5 each, and you can get as many as you like.
That's right.
So the more you buy, obviously, the more chances you have to win. And just make sure that in the message of your donation, you let us know which raffle you would like. So, I see we have some comments from Scott. Hi, Scott. Totally agree. Living history. You do an excellent job. Thank you so much, Scott. Vanessa says, we cannot thank you enough. We love Young Historians Homeschool Group. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Vanessa. That is very kind of you. So, let's go to our next raffle item. So, you can get an apron hand sewn by Marie. You can also get a mystery history basket.
That's right. So, what's in this basket? Well, it's a mystery, but it's lots of cool things from here at the History Center, from our shop, some books, some postcards, things like that. And actually, the basket itself is pretty cool. So, same deal. It's $5 per ticket. Just let us know if you're going to be raffling for this item, to make sure you put in the in the description that this is the item that you're doing your raffle for.
That's right. Okay. So next up we have Glenn. You can present this one.
Oh yes, one of the greatest academic minds of our time has written a picture book. But it's a really cool picture book. It is local history, Hall County in World War II. And these are really about 90% of the photographs in this book are from here in the History Center collections. And of course, it's a home front focused book. And this book normally sells in our shop for about $21.99, but we're going to be raffling one of these off at $5 per ticket. And remember, all these raffle items, shipping is included in the raffle ticket price. So if you happen to win, you get it shipped to you absolutely free. And if you want, I can sign and personalize this book if you win the raffle. So make sure you put in for this one.
All right, and next up we have, this is a really cool one as well. So today, during our blacksmith demonstration, you can actually get the candlestick holder that Stephen made. So Stephen Bartlett is one of our living history interpreters, and he's going to be presenting the blacksmithing demonstration, and you can win this really beautiful rustic artisanal
Locally sourced
candlestick holder, and it's really beautiful. It's also got a nice weight to it, so it just feels like it would just look really, really cool in your house. I'm kind of jealous. Maybe I might.
No employee discounts on the raffles.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then we also have a digital membership for you and a friend. So you can enter a raffle for a digital membership for you and a friend. And our digital memberships allow you to enter our members-only live stream programs every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern, as well as access to all of our previous member-only live streams, which at this point I think we have well over 20
I think
now.
so, yeah.
So, and a lot of the times these programs are going to be a bit more niche. So, for instance, the one we did on 18th and 19th century letter writing was a members program. And so you can get a digital membership for you and a friend. And lastly, we have a tour. So you can win a group tour for 10. Now this can be, if you live in the area, you can come have a private tour at the History Center. Or we can do a virtual tour of our exhibits. So, Glenn, would you describe for folks outside of Georgia or who have not visited the History Center what they will see in our exhibits?
Yeah, so the exhibit is called Land of Promise, and the gist of it is that people have been coming to this area because it is a land of promise. It has resources, opportunities from prehistory all the way up to the present days, and that's really what our exhibit explores. It's the history of this region, of this very unique region we call home in Northeast Georgia. So you're going to see the first part, of course, is about the first peoples who live here, the Native Americans, the conflicts, and sometimes the cooperation between European settlers and the Native Americans, which leads to removal. We have the expansion of the frontier to the Civil War, the coming of the railroad, and expansion into a modern world driven by textile industry, poultry industry, and lots of modern things that have brought us to where we are in the present day. So this tour, again, if you're in the area, this can be local. We can do a masked, socially distanced tour in person here, or if you just want to know about Northeast Georgia, but you live in, say, New Mexico, we can do the tour virtually with the exact same format. So hopefully that's something a lot of you will be interested in, and that's a pretty good deal. If you only pay $5 or $10 for 1 or 2 tickets, that normally is about a $150 price to have a private individual tour for a group of 10 to 20. So be sure and tune into that one. Now, those raffles help us, and I just want to take a note. Look, we're 30 minutes in, and we've already got 10% of our
Yes,
goal.
and that is amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's do a few shout outs to our latest donors. We have, and people commenting. Gabby says, I love what you do. You are injecting love for history in new generations.
Good,
Thank you
that's
so
the
much.
goal.
Yes, and so far you are correct. We have reached that 10% milestone. That is so exciting. I'd like to thank Barclay and Miriam Rushton for their $100 donation.
Thank you, Barkley.
Thank you so much,
Miriam.
Barclay and Miriam Rushton. They say in their message, great idea for a fundraiser. Looking forward to checking out your programs today. Thank you so much for your generous donation. Now, Glenn, I think are we ready to go into this really cool archives video? So, folks, I'm going to put in the chat while the video is playing all of the raffles so you can know which one to enter, but it's the same donation link. So just make sure that in the message you just say which raffle you would like to apply your donation to, and we will enter you. So let's go ahead and go to the archives with Lesley and see what is it really like to be an archivist at the Northeast Georgia History Center.
Hello everyone, my name is Lesley Jones and I'm the Archives Manager here at the Northeast Georgia History Center. Today we wanted to show you what it's like to archive on a budget. Why on a budget? Well, because we need donations from people like you to help us preserve these artifacts the way that they should be preserved. So let's start today with how we archive here at the History Center. So today, we are archiving kitchen supplies. We have a lot in the archives that have not been cataloged yet. So here are a couple that I thought would be really interesting to show you. So we have stuff like Johnson's powdered wax for dancing floors, and it still has powder in it. Pretty cool. Colgate shaving mug soap. Bluebell brand pears. It even still has the tin. Something in there. Maybe we'll find out. So we're going to try to archive all of these today. So we need our banker's box. First thing we need to do is label the box so we'll be able to find it when we're in the archives. So right now I'm working on the shelf A4. So this box is going to be A4, shelf 2, box 1. and then we write what is going to go in the box. So I'm going to say kitchen products. See, first step, already done. Pretty easy. So next we need to pad the bottom of the box to protect the artifact from the hard surface of the box. So we have these styrofoam sheets here, and we cut it to size. Now our box is lined. So now we can start actually cataloging the artifacts. So let's start with the very first one. Let's start with that dancing powder because it's so cool. All right, so when we're cataloging this, we need to look at every single thing about this item. The size, the color, the texture, the company, any of the words, how there's still powder in it, that'll be a great note, and the condition of the item. So we're gonna start putting that in the system here, and then we'll get to wrapping it. Alright, so what I put here was, it's powdered wax for dancing floors. It's made by S.C. Johnson & Son. The colors are white, yellow, and black. It looks like there could have been some green in here at one point, so I did add that. Then I added, the company that it's in is Racine, Wisconsin, and it is large size, so I added the 14 ounces. Then I said that it's cylinder in shape, and it has the little powder holes, and it also has powder still inside. There is this label on top. It is hard to read. It does say 1909, so I did add that. And then for the condition, I said it's rusted and a little warped on the bottom, and there's this dent here on this side, and obviously it does have some rust, but really for 111 years old, it's in great shape. Let's look at it a little bit closer. Right? Great shape. All right, so we're gonna pack it. What we need is tissue paper. So we take 2 sheets of tissue paper, and I'm gonna first do it long ways and then do it widthwise, just to try to cover it to make sure none of the powder falls out. Just to make sure it's really tight, I'm gonna do it one more time around the top. So that's it, our dancing powder wax is done. Very first artifact that goes in this box. Takes a little while, but really it gets to be so much fun to catalog these things. So let's try to finish this whole box. Black raspberries. Another can of the same black raspberries, except this time the label is in much better condition. Much better. So since this can is exactly the same as the other can, what I did was I just added notes on the other one, except this one I made sure to point out that this one is in much better condition. So when we do use it in our exhibits, that we would use this one instead of the other one, and maybe clean up that one, maybe better preserve that one, but actually use this one. Bluebell peas. This can of peas is packed in syrup made with high-grade sugar. 1906. Fascinating stuff, I gotta say. In this can of peas, what was in it? The shaky thing? A piece of shale? Random piece of glass? You might be asking yourself, Leslie, are you really wiping this with a glove? I am, because it's already dirty. Why not? We'll just make a pretty little pile. Pretty little pile. It's fine. It's fine. 100-year-old dirt. Rowley's pure granulated nutmegs. Even has a recipe for donuts on the back. I would not recommend these donuts. Guaranteed wholesome and unadulterated. That's how I want my nutmeg. Maybe there's still some in here. Aww, there's a dinosaur on it because it's oil. It does not evaporate, so I tested it and it doesn't evaporate. Woo. This one's a little different because It's in really great shape. We're going to keep the box for these lids, but because there's so much wiggle room in here, I'm going to pad the box to make sure it doesn't wiggle anymore, and then we're going to wrap it. So how we doing on the box? Nice job, right? Thanks. So the box here says it's wide mouth canning caps with snap lids, but that is not what's in the box here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap the box and the lids separate because it is a different product. That way we can use both. $1986. We're getting pretty full here. I think we can fit in a couple more of these tiny items. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see it, but it still has the label on it and everything. Used maybe a couple times? Dare me smell it? I'm gonna smell it. Actually not that bad. Pretty cool. I think someone donated their sewing kit. Has some binding, some buttons, replacement pocket. all kinds of threads. Needle. Little lace trim. It's kind of cute. So when someone donates a collection, we archive it all together. So say someone donates 12 items, each of the items will be in that one collection. They all need to be wrapped together, they all need to be typed in the system together, everything needs to stay together because it's one collection. So we have, I'd say, over 10 items here, so it's going to take me a while to catalog all these, but this will be a one collection. I think I'm just going to call it a sewing kit collection because there unfortunately is no name of the person who donated on this box. If you're watching the telethon, let me know that this is yours. I'd love to actually catalog it with your name, but otherwise we're just going to name it sewing kit. I have trouble seeing colors sometimes that are blue or green. What do you think? Is that blue or green? I'm gonna go ask Lila. Lima says let's go with the neutral and say it's teal. I'll take it. It looks like two different colors. It looks green. Green? I'm gonna go with green. If it's not green, tell me. Let me know. I'll fix it. Okay, I actually want one of these. Do they still sell these? Somebody tell me. It has the bobbin on the inside. And then you can actually cut off the thread right here. I do cross stitch all the time. This would be the lifesaver. I want one of these. Do they still exist? Somebody tell me. This fabric here, or thread, can you see the, I don't know if it's, there's a pattern on the thread that they were making that turned into this, here, they made that. I don't know how you do that. How do you do that? I need to ask Marie, she'll probably know. That's amazing, right? It looks like just a random piece of thread. But she made it. Whoever owned this made it. So, like I said, don't underestimate your donations. We have a name. I'm not gonna reveal it just in case they don't want people to know that they donated it, but we actually do have a name on the bottom of a checkbox. Pretty cool, right? So this probably is the person that donated it, so I'm gonna write down their information, and if it is you, let me know. It's such a cool find. And there's 27 different items in here. So what I'm doing, since these items are so small, it'd be really hard to actually put these in the box and have them easy to be found. So I'm gonna leave them in the checkbook box, but I'm gonna pack it up so where it won't move around, and the thread will be saved, and this amazing fabric, everything will be protected in here. So the archives consultant, Ava, when she came to help us basically teach me how to do this stuff, she taught me a lifelong lesson, thank you Ava, is the shake test. So when you want to protect something like artifacts, something really fragile, even when you're packing, you want to do the shake test. So I'm going to shake this and make sure nothing moves around, and if it isn't, it's good to go, and if it does, we need to add more tissue. You're the best, Ava. Wind beneath my wings. Let's take a look at our box to see if we are full. So I think we could fit more stuff here, but we don't want to put it on top of the artifacts because then it could mess with the ones on the bottom and the ones on the top. So what we do is we create another layer, like when we padded the bottom, we're gonna pad this layer here, and then we're gonna add on to it. I think this sheet is already done. Perfect. See? Now we can start a new row here without damaging any of the items down there, like the floor wax or the Colgate soap that I kind of messed up. So let's get started on another layer. Paper. Little Tommy Tucker sings for his supper. What shall we eat? White bread and butter. Is that a Mother Goose rhyme? Oh, Little Miss Mary. It is. These are a little loose. What are we gonna do? We're gonna put tissue down there to make sure it doesn't move. And then we're gonna do the Ava shake test. Why did I take off my glove? So we have 2 items left, but I don't think they're gonna fit in there comfortably, and I don't want them to be crushed. So we're just gonna finish the box. We have quite a bit of room left, so what we do is we fill it with tissue, make sure it doesn't move, and it's protected. So let's do the Ava shake test and finish the box. There we have it, one finished box. This took maybe, I want to say, hour and 45 minutes, and that was to do, let's see, 40 things. This is why the archives are so important. That's why I volunteer most of my time doing the archives, because of how much work goes into doing this. Because one of the things the donation goes to is actually preparing these the way they should be. When I said we were doing this on a budget, we really are, because we should be doing this with acid-free tissue, we should do this with better padding, we should do this with acid-free boxes, but we're making do with what we have. So donations would be amazing, and this is how you can help with the number below. Or Liva, why don't you show us the different tiers? Thank you for joining me. This is my all-time favorite part of my job, and I hope you really enjoyed it. I'd love to do this again if anyone's interested, and if you have any questions about these items, or if you'd like to donate anything, please let me know. Bye!
Tired of reading history books?
No.
Oh, well, interested in learning about history in a fun, virtual way?
I'm listening.
Then you should become a digital member of the Northeast Georgia History Center. Receive exclusive invites to weekly members-only live streams and access all of our past members-only programming like letter writing in the 18th and 19th centuries, 1920s fashion and dance, open fire cooking with Marie, the history behind Les Miserables the musical, all for as low as $3 a month or $35 a year.
What a bargain!
So, what do you say? Will you become a digital member of the Northeast Georgia History Center?
I already am. Hey there, folks. I'm Glenn Kyle, the Executive Director of the Northeast Georgia History Center, which is why I can give you the History Center guarantee to provide high-quality, entertaining, and family-friendly history education. Now, this has been a year like no other, and we've had a lot of challenges, and the History Center has risen to most of those challenges, but the one we need the most help with right now is to make sure that we meet our budget and our operational costs through the end of 2020. That's why we're here. That's why we need your help. It is a call to action. What we need is for you to make a donation to us, if you can, from any level to $5 all the way up to $1,000, and we've got a lot of great gifts and neat things that you can get if you give to that. So I want you to think about what we do. I want you to continue to appreciate the things we do, because no one online that we know of is doing things in such a creative and engaging way to so many of our audiences from age groups 5 to 95. So if you can do anything for us, please do. you can, number one, click on the link below that takes you directly to a website where you can put your information in and give us a donation that way. Call us at 770-297-5900 to give us a credit card number, and we can run that straight through. Or you can do it the old-fashioned historical way and just get a check to us. There's two ways to do that. You can drop it off here at the History Center or mail it to us at 322 Academy Street Northeast, Gainesville, Georgia, 30501. We look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to sharing all of our great history educational programs with you this year and in the coming years. And thanks again for being a supporter of history and the History Center. And we're back, folks. We hope you enjoyed that little insight into the archives with Lesley. And I have to say, I don't know if you've done a lot of work in archives in your young career, but I have, and you probably noticed watching Lesley that you can really get into a history nerd zen zone when you're going through things. It's a lot of interesting things that you may not have seen before. It may be things very familiar, but it's very pleasant. The phone doesn't ring. No one comes in to talk to you. You're just down there in the archives looking at history stuff. Now, want to let you know we've gotten a couple of other donations via check. Marie, why don't you tell us about that one?
Thanks, Mom!
Good old Marie's mom contributed, and if Marie's mom can contribute, so can you. So
my mom dropped off a check this morning.
That's right. So, as you just saw, there's several different ways. And good old Lesley is actually on the phone now. You can call in and make your donation that way. You could also call and tell her what a great job she did working there on the archives while you're making your donation. I'm sure that would be great for her. Now, I also found out that just this morning we've gotten a couple of new digital members already. And that is also a fantastic way to give. It may not help the little beeper thing move across the board to our $3,000 goal, but that's okay because it's still a fantastic way to support us and a fantastic way to make sure that you get some of the best programming available here on the interwebs. Now,
Indeed.
Speaking of the interwebs, it's very remarkable when you think about how far we've come. Libba was talking about the handwriting episode that we did. One of the things that has changed, obviously, as you see us here on the internet itself, is digital communications and how people are able to talk to each other, to express ideas.
We've definitely experienced that a lot in
We
2020.
We really have. As I've said, we have these amazing things in our pockets that we're able to call anyone, anywhere, at any time. A blessing and a curse. But our next program coming up, and while you're watching it, please enjoy the video, but also please think about the kind of donation that you can make. We're going to be looking at digital communication devices and how the history of that started to really change and alter the world that we live in a way that is remarkable and revolutionary, because people, starting 100 years ago, they did not have this kind of technology. And in the last 100 years, it has become a central part of our everyday life. So, we hope you enjoy this next program based on digital communications, and coming up right after that one, Marie's going to be doing some of that fantastic hand sewing that she does. So stay tuned, click that donate button, and thanks for tuning in to the History Center's Telethon.